It was just moments before the end of their late night shift when two hospital cleaners heard something that made them freeze in their tracks. It all started with the unmistakable sound of someone sobbing from inside a locked bathroom. The terrifying moment was captured on the CCTV camera of a Malaysian hospital in Kuala Lumpur and later posted by the TikTok account Tanah Kubur on March 23rd, showing two cleaners cautiously approaching the door when the woman suddenly recoils in absolute terror. Her colleague saw nothing, but what she claimed she witnessed was so horrific and so directly connected to the hospital's darkest rumour that it sent her running for her life. Thankfully, the security camera was rolling the whole time. This is what it caught. As one of the cleaners pushes the bathroom door open, you can see her reach for the light switch, but she never even gets to flip it. According to her, a man with a pale white disfigured face was hanging from the ceiling right in front of her eyes, which sends her into a full-blown panic. She bolts, stumbling backwards into the opposite wall, while her colleague, a true gentleman, hauls ass out of there without a second glance. Chivalry clearly isn't dead then, I guess. But this is where it gets really weird. The light inside the bathroom flicks on by itself, and the door swings wide open, as if inviting them in for a closer look. Then, just as you're desperate to see what's inside, the feed cuts to black. The uploader claims that the rest of the footage is missing, and that both this camera and another one down the corridor were found broken and had to be replaced. What makes this footage even more chilling though, is the hospital's dark history. For decades, staff have whispered stories about a man who decided to take his last breath in one of the bathrooms back in the 80s. Now, paranormal investigators would have a field day with this one. They often talk about two main types of hauntings: residual and intelligent. A residual haunting is like a psychic recording of a traumatic event stuck on a loop. That could explain the sobbing and the horrifying vision of the man, a tragic echo of a past event. But an intelligent haunting is something else entirely. That's when the entity is aware and interacts with you. The light turning on, the door opening, and most importantly, the cameras breaking. Yeah, definitely not a memory on repeat. That's a direct response. Some would say it's a sign of a massive spike of electromagnetic energy, a paranormal punch powerful enough to fry the equipment to stop anyone from seeing what happens next. Of course, a skeptic might say the woman's mind primed by the hospital's rumours, play tricks on her in the dark, and the cameras? Maybe just a coincidental power surge. But how do you explain both cameras in the corridor breaking at the exact same moment? What do you think? A tragic echo from the past, or an intelligent spirit that really didn't want to be seen? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Number 4. Not dead yet. This guy knew he was jumping into the deep end when he took a job at a funeral home, but he never expected his worst nightmares to come true during almost each one of his shifts. He had been hearing strange noises echoing through the coffin storeroom, and when he went to check on the noise, he saw something horrifying. He wouldn't shut up about it, but nobody believed him. That was until he managed to catch it on video.
Miren, como tenemos rato escuchando ruidos aquí en esta zona. Si vemos, pues está solo y creemos que pues hay algo aquí porque pues se empiezan a mover así como que medio raro. Miren. Miren cómo se mueve, miren, 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 miren. Miren cómo se mueve. No hay nada. No hay nada, no hay nada, no hay nada. Está mi compañero, pero pues si vemos estamos solos, solos, solos.
He thought that was bad enough, but then a few weeks later, while he worked a lonely shift upstairs, everything got a bit more physical.
Estamos aquí en la funeraria, otra vez, con ruidos raros. Entonces, pues, está solo. Ahora sí, ¿cuál pinche que se ve? Que nada. Estoy solo en la chingada. Estoy solo. A la chingada. A la chingada. A la no mames, no mames, no mames.
After hearing more strange noises, our guy grabs his camera and heads back into the storeroom, hoping to catch whatever was lurking in there. And this time, he gets more than he bargained for. Out of nowhere, one of those tall funeral candlestick stands is violently shoved over, sending him noping out of there for a second time.
No mames, no mames, no mames.
He then does a full sweep of the floor, showing that he's completely alone. The only other people in the building are the embalmers, working upstairs, directly above the spot where the candlestick fell. Now, the obvious theory is that this is the spirit of the newly arrived body lashing out, but some paranormal researchers have a much darker theory for places like this. One that sounds like it's been ripped straight out of Ed and Lorraine Warren's case files. The theory goes that a powerful inhuman entity can attach itself to a location and essentially hide behind the stories of the human spirits that pass through. It's a bit like what Lorraine Warren claimed to experience. She would see the tragic story of a human ghost, but all the while, a darker intelligence was pulling the strings, using the human spirit as a smokescreen. So, what if the activity in this funeral home isn't just from confused spirits? What if it's one single malevolent entity that gets a jolt of energy every time a new body, and its confused spirit, is brought into that building? This would explain why the paranormal activity spikes at that exact moment. But what's your take? Is this funeral home the new home of a sinister entity that uses the recently deceased as a supernatural battery pack? Let us know your thoughts on this one.
Miren, 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 miren. Miren cómo se mueve, miren, 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 miren.
By the way, a huge thank you to our members of the week, Mr. Toffees and Jamie Nessie. You can join the wonderful people who make this content possible by signing up to our Patreon. Or you can just like and subscribe. It's free and it helps a ton. Number 3. House of Dolls. This guy is extremely proud of his haunted doll collection, so whenever he got the chance, he would show them off on TikTok. But through doing this, his viewers were able to pick something absolutely petrifying out from the footage he shared. After he clocked this doll moving, he moved her into his room so he could keep a better eye on her, which was when he realized just how sinister she really was. But then his other dolls started moving as well. These videos picked up so much traction that the owner was actually invited onto a television program to tell his story, but as he did so, the wrath of his dolls followed him.
Tanya, buat apa tisu? Wong kamu tisu ada, kata aku. Loh, siapa yang minta tisu? Enggak, aku nggak minta tisu gitu. Loh, tadi yang ke kamar minta tisu kamu kan? Enggak, aku di kamar di sini.
Push. Apa tuh? Gerak bonekanya.
Enggak, aku di kamar di sini.
Now, this moment on the TV show is a proper showstopper, and the context is everything. As Harun is telling the host about the mischievous antics of one specific doll, Bella, a book suddenly topples over. And get this, the title of the book, Hilain Dalam Dekpan Sumeru, translates to Lost in the Embrace of Sumeru. It's a famous horror novel about hikers having terrifying paranormal encounters on the haunted Mount Sumeru. The irony is just delicious. But watch the doll's arm closely. You can see it move, seemingly pushing the book right off the table, and the timing is impeccable. This happens at the exact moment Harun is describing Bella's history of pranks. It's as if the spirit attached to her heard her name and decided to give a live demonstration. This takes it beyond a simple poltergeist bump. This is what paranormal investigators would classify as a targeted, intelligent interaction. Would you agree? Let us know.
Enggak, aku di kamar di sini.
Number 2. Sleeping rough. While exploring an old boarding house, this guy had been tipped off that something suspicious was happening inside. Many people told him to check out the 3rd floor balcony, so he went up to see what he could find, and ended up jumping straight out of his skin.
Sebenarnya itu beta sim takut guys. Selagi dia tidak berwujud, beta pun sim takut. Merinding. Beta pernah live sini tapi sini beta paling takut cuk. Ini di balkon 3 di lantai 3. Oke guys, sekian. Anjing.
Whatever it was that he felt inside that building appeared to latch onto him.
Anjing.
Because then, whenever he tried to sleep, he would become plagued by strange happenings.
Cuma begitu sah. Keluar wujud kah? Kalau cuma begini juga, beta juga bisa. Si ada di sebelah mana? Supaya beta jalan kau sih. Cuma bagian-bagian seorangnya sintaku. Tenang. Sibur jatuh guys. Mau mandi ke apa? Weh anjing.
Egging it on seemed to be making it 10 times more powerful. While you can make things sway and fall over in many different ways, the room he is in is so large and barren, there would be nowhere for anyone to set anything like that up. It was after he had the realization himself that there was nobody here to play a prank on him that the activity got even stronger.
Rice cooker cuy. Maksudnya
That's one way to ask for a biscuit. This poltergeist has clearly got the munchies and isn't waiting around to be served. But seriously, what in the fresh hell is making that lid flip open on its own? Before you start shouting, "fishing line," have a proper look at the room. It's massive and wide open. There's absolutely nowhere for a prankster to hide without being completely obvious. You need to be a ninja with a fishing rod to pull that one off. So, what's the real story here? Is our guy sharing his flat with a particularly peckish ghost? Or has he just got a mate with some string and far too much time on his hands? You be the judge of this one. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Number 1. Shadow Man. This kid always felt as though he was being watched in his bedroom at night. He claimed that a shadow figure was lurking in his room and tried to convince his parents that he was telling the truth. But as most parents do, they told him it was just his imagination and try and go back to sleep. After weeks of telling his mum about the shadow figure, she finally said he could keep his phone by his bed to try and catch a video of it the next time it showed up. That is how he was able to capture this terrifying footage.
Bang, abang, bang sini bang, bang. Itu apa tadi bang? Itu. Tadi ada hitam-hitam di situ bang. Ada hitam-hitam di situ bang.
The video starts with the kid's hand held up right in front of his face. According to him, this is something that happens every time the figure is near. His vision goes blurry and he gets intensely dizzy, so he was trying to focus on his own hand to fight it. But here's the really chilling part. While his own eyes are betraying him, the phone's camera is recording in perfect clarity. He pans the camera left, and that's when he captures it. A tall, creepy-ass shadow figure lurking by the door. Just as he's always described, he rightfully freaks out, shouts for his mum, and by the time she gets there, it's vanished. But this time, he has the footage. Now, that's reported blurry vision and dizziness are classic symptoms people describe during paranormal encounters. Some investigators believe these are psychological effects caused by the entity itself, or by high concentrations of infrared sound or electromagnetic energy, which can mess with your inner ear and even affect your vision. and the figure itself is a textbook shadow person. They're known for being dark, solid masses that disappear in the blink of an eye, especially when confronted, which would explain why his mum never saw it. For weeks, his parents told him it was all in his head, just a bad dream, but the footage proves it. The nightmare was real, and it was standing right there in his room. He finally has the evidence that something was watching him in the dark. The only question that remains is, what exactly it's been waiting for. There isn't anywhere for anyone to hide off camera to shake the chair. The glitching is already scary, but why is it levitating? It was lifted by only one ankle, so it's plausible it could just be someone on a surfboard really far out. But why does the figure look like it's walking on top of the waves? It looks as though the legs are moving one after the other across the sea.